There are places that really stay with us, and it's not because something extraordinary happened, but because for a little while life became quiet enough to hear our own soul again. So last week I spent 7 days in a beautiful valley in southern Norway, a place called Farunsdal. People have gathered here every summer for generations. Families, friends, children running freely, and people worshipping together, sharing meals and sharing life. I came expecting a week away. I didn't know I would leave carrying something I hadn't even realized I was missing. The funny thing is, I almost left my camera at home. I remember thinking, will I really film anything? But I'm so thankful I brought it. Not because I planned to make a film really, but because this week became a collection of moments I never want to forget. Sometimes the most meaningful stories aren't the ones we plan. They're the ones that quietly unfold while we're simply living them. The days found their own rhythm. We woke up slowly and made our coffee, sat outside and talked, walked through the valley, visited family, laughed, rested. Nothing spectacular really happened. And perhaps that was exactly what made it so beautiful. Back home, life often feels so full. There is always another email, another project, another decision to make, and another responsibility waiting just around the corner. Even when everything around us becomes quiet, our mind don't always know how to follow. But here, something inside me slowly began to slow down. I started noticing little things again. The warmth of the morning sun, the sound of conversation drifting through the campground, the laughter of children, coffee shared with family, the breeze moving gently through the trees. Nothing extraordinary, just ordinary life. And somehow it felt incredibly full. Sometimes I think we're so busy searching for the big moments that we almost miss the quiet miracles happening every single day. One of the things I really loved about this week was simply, just being surrounded by other believers. And it was not like everyone had life figured out and looked the same or believed exactly the same. But because there was something underneath it all, a shared hope and a shared foundation and a shared home. Faith can sometimes feel deeply personal, something we carry quietly inside. But every now and then, we need to be reminded that we were never meant to walk alone. There was something deeply comforting about hearing worship in the distance and sharing conversations and knowing that all around me people were turning their hearts towards the same Savior. It simply just felt like home. It wasn't until the week was almost over that I suddenly realized something. For 7 days, I hadn't felt anxious. Not once. I hadn't been checking how I felt, or searching for symptoms, or trying to fix myself. I had just simply been living. And that realization almost surprised me. Because, for quite some time, this anxiety has quietly followed me everywhere. Sometimes so loud, other times almost unnoticed by everyone else. But during this week, it seems to lose its grip somehow. And it was not because of some dramatic moment or that someone said exactly the right thing. It just happened slowly. One quiet morning and one conversation, one walk, one shared meal, one peaceful evening at a time. So maybe peace doesn't always arrive all at once. Maybe it grows quietly while we're busy living. I've often found God in beautiful places. While I'm painting and walking, watching the light fall across the sea, and listening to the birds before the world wakes up. This week reminded me again that God isn't only present in life's extraordinary moments. He's present while coffee is brewing, while dishes are being washed, and while families laugh around the table, and while we walk the dog and rest and just breathe. Sometimes we're looking for God in the spectacular, while He is already waiting for us in the ordinary. Being here with my family made everything so much more precious. The older I become, the more I realize that this life isn't really built from milestones. It's built from those ordinary days shared with people we love. One day, these simple moments become the memories we treasure the most. The laughter we shared and the conversations, the familiar voices, and the feeling of belonging. Time may be one of the greatest gifts we can ever give each other. And this week, we had so much beautiful time. Eventually, the week came to an end. The chairs were folded, the caravan was packed, and we drove home. Part of me wondered, would the peace disappear the moment ordinary life returned? But perhaps peace isn't something we hold tightly. Perhaps it's something we learn to return to. A slow walk, a quiet prayer, a grateful heart, a deep breath. A reminder that God is just as present at home as He is in the valley. I went on this trip expecting a week away, but instead I found a quieter heart, a slower rhythm, and a renewed gratitude for ordinary life. I came home reminded that peace isn't found in perfect circumstances. It is found one ordinary moment at a time. So perhaps we don't always need to escape our lives. Perhaps we simply need to slow down long enough to notice the life God has already placed in front of us. Thank you guys for spending these quiet moments with me.